chop, chop, pop it on it. And I'm going to slap it over here. Hello there, friends. Whole lot of stuff to talk about today, but I'm going to try to be doing it while... Okay, cool. While I'm working on this guy. That's a pro tip right there. Hide your super glue inside of the top. I don't remember if this is a spinneret or a... I think it's just a tower. No, there's a title. There's a term. There's a term for each of these. And I don't remember off the top of my head. Spinneret is not it though. But yeah, that's a pro tip. Hide all your super glue that's open just in there. No one will know. I'm gonna try to finish this coffee that I've been working on. Not drinking for an hour and then drank like a couple of it, half of it, like 30 minutes ago. It's still lukewarm, that's fine. Alrighty, so today we're gonna be doing a whole lot of stuff, or as much as I can get done. We still have to build some steps. We still have to build some ladders. We still have to cut some of this foam into, in my opinion, better sized shapes. The last part of it was absolutely, I need to get this thing built so I can at least start playing on it. So from this point, there are a lot of, not actually a lot of, just the layers after the flooring. I started to use larger bricks. I'm gonna need to go back and shape those to be more the same size as the others while keeping this overall shape. That's like a key part of the process that we want to make sure we don't make it look like halfway, at the very end they gave up and they started using bigger ass blocks because nobody would do that in real life. Like if anything, like those blocks would be at like the bottom just from foundational reasons. And then we got to figure out how to put shingles on this bad boy. So this thing was fun to figure out how to make, and by how to make, like learn how they actually like scaffolded them. If you're doing that, and again, that's like because I wanted this to be as realistic in thought as possible. That way, while I am making it, whatever design it needs to go, it's not wasted time because this will be visible when I take it off no matter what. But any place that has shingles missing will now have a backing board. So it just adds another further layer to the realism that we are presenting, which again, all of this compounds. So it's why if you're not going to do all of the crazy shit, it's not worth doing certain parts of it unless you're going to go full just over the top, which I highly recommend, but not everybody likes that. So where are we going to go from here? And then I need to make the drawbridge, not the drawbridge, sorry, the suspension bridge going from here to here, which the glue is pretty solid on there. Currently these are all just glued with super glue. The wood, the balsa wood, that is not. They probably are all going to be okay just with that as is, due to the fact that I'm going to cover this whole thing in all kinds of other glues. I'm going to base this little cake in all kinds of sticky products to seal it, number one, but two, to also keep, to add grit texturing. We want to kind of baste this foam with glue that is watered down, so when we throw grit on there it adds texture, but also it seals the foam, and that is important because we are going to be airbrushing in parts. We're going to be using sprays, and that cannot touch this foam. If that touches the foam, the aerosol will eat the foam. So aerosol will eat foam. There's a couple things that will eat the foam. We just want to make sure that we keep everything separated. This is essentially the same kind of concept as when you are applying washes or weatherings. It's all that. You want to make sure that the components that cannot interact with each other don't ever actually come into contact. But they can get really, really close to it. So, where do we want to start? Kind of wondering, so shingles on these kinds of roofs. I'll look those up real quick. Wooden shingle. How that worked. So, my mom's old house had wooden shingles. Yeah, those are fucking sick. So, I am pretty sure they are literally just strips of wood. Single piece strip cut. Yep. Okay. Nope. It is what it looks like. So that makes the next thing that we're gonna do a lot easier, because I saved all the other parts of the popsicle. Redwood Skeleton uses all of the popsicle, so you know that none of it is going to waste. I didn't need any popsicles. I'm actually not a big popsicle guy, but I have a lot of popsicle sticks. So. Shingles. Now, I'm curious if the scale will be wrong, though, thickness-wise. Let me grab a couple of these that are bigger. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a fun idea already, and extremely tedious, but fun in a way, and it will look good. I'm already getting the idea. Okay, so. And part of this, just to be full disclosure, let me see if I have the press. Yep. So I already had this little shingle punch. I'm pretty sure I bought this from a company that I don't like, so I removed and defaced their name on here. So I won't recommend it, but. If you can find one, yeah, okay, that's a little bit smaller, but I was going to cut these in half. So once they're cut in half, will that look too thick? I don't think it will. I think that could look good. As long as I do it right. Yeah. I don't think those are too thick at all. In fact, yeah, okay, no. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just going to break all these and start gluing them. But not all of them. Some of them need to be wider, I think. Man, okay, well these break a lot easier than I thought they did. That is wonderful news. Hoo boy. That is great to see. I was really worried for a second that I was going to have to do anything involving actual cutting. After doing that, when you do, cut 1,000 popsicle sticks, the ends, when you break all the ends off of them, and then you cut them down the middle and then break them all in half, that way they all are individual, you really don't want to do that kind of thing again. So I'm really glad that I don't have to do anything other than just kind of bend these. Yeah, and that's going to look good. I'm confident that will look good. It will look like a shingle because that is what it would look like. Now, I need to look again at the thickness of actual shingles to see how thick they were at the time. They might be too thick. No, they were thick boys. Okay. I'm in. Yeah, no, I think it'll look cool. So, I'm probably going to use super glue. So, the thing about roofing is we're going to work our way up. I'm going to grab some blue tack. I'm going to get this guy off the table. That way I don't have to do that over all of this. And we're going to just slowly start adding those on there. And I can actually just use my regular cutting mat, since this thing is not going to be right up in my face the whole time. Preferably. Now I'm looking at these. No. This is good. This is good. No, we're good. Okay. pieces of wood behind there the whole time. And this. It is Tuesday, my dudes, at 8:36. I don't normally stream. There's a big old hair. That's one of mine. Let's see. I don't normally stream at this time. So Tuesdays, I'm going to start trying to stream in the mornings. I think 7:40. We'll probably do an hour to like 8:40 or 9. See, I hate starting at weird times. There's something odd about that I'm just like, well, that seems like a weird time to start. But then really, why does that matter? Where did this go? Yeah. Oh, that's a piece of plastic. All right. Cutting that. That is visually unappealing to look at, so we will use the cutting mat. Which is why the cutting mat slowly is starting to look just as shitty as the other cutting mat that I had. Yeah, okay. I didn't grab any blue tack, so that does not help us. Also, I should actually get a link to my stream currently to put on YouTube or Insta. That way, people do not have to work for it. Share. Link. Paste. Okay. Derp. Alrighty. Oh, how that got in there. So how far do these have to go, I wonder, before it starts to look right? Oh. Well, hold on now. I think just like that. Okay. Well, that's a lot easier than I thought it was. Isn't that how it goes? Ain't that just the way? Ain't that just the way? Now, hopefully, I'm using that word a lot. Hopefully, that will stay like that. Seems like it will. Yeah, I think that's going to look great. I think we're going to be real happy with that. Once there's like hundreds on there. So it's going to be a bit, but I'm in it for the long haul. So, I'm not going to hum the whole time, I promise. Or maybe I will. I don't think I will. But I also won't promise that I won't. So, Lots of things to kind of talk about, ramble about. I've kind of picked a schedule to be streaming in the afternoons, which is kind of exciting. I think we are going to stick, and by stick I mean to. We've discussed it, my wife and my Discord, a couple times at different points. But Tuesdays, I really like Tuesdays as a day to stream in the afternoons. So I think this afternoon will be the first one. And because I want to actually do content that I am trying to. This is for, a game that I'm wanting to be playing at a time like, oh, hey, on Tuesday I'll be playing this game later on that night. Unfortunately, I do not have any boards fully done. This will be the first one that I will have done, which is why we are working on it during the days, streaming, that kind of stuff. That, I'll buff it out. I don't need to worry about flipping that or I'm going to go crazy. That's another little tip right there. Don't sweat things like that. That would be an issue if I went really, really deep into trying to make all of them perfect. We also need to consider that some of these might have fallen out. Because the rest of our castle, our castle's in pretty good state of repair. The world's gone to shit, but they took good care of that. So I'd say the roof, it'll look a little rough around the edges. Don't worry about that. But yeah, these are great. This was a great idea. I'm happy with my choices. So today will be the first solo RPG game that I'm going to be running. I think we are going to do it at 7 Eastern time, Tuesdays. And I think yesterday we made a character for Merkborg, and I am very excited to play as that kit character. I don't think that's what I'm going to be playing today. I'm kind of really fired up about. I'm really fired up. That's my new phrase, I guess. I'm not using that as a phrase. I don't like that. I am really excited, really stoked about Farewell to Arms, which is supposed to come in the mail today, and I really, really want to play that. So, and that will also allow me to use the name of Tunnel Rat Tuesdays, which I have been wanting to use for something since it came to me. And I think I've talked about using that on days where it's like, oh yeah, it's going to be working on some Trench Crusade terrain. And that's another aspect of where that can fit in, because one of the things that I really am wanting to do is to make terrain that is multifunctional. Like I really want stuff that I use to be able to be used. Forbidden Psalm, Trench Crusade, Merkborg, Forbidden Psalm. Same thing with 1490 Doom. I would like there to be some. That way I don't have to make so much terrain. Because while I like having lots of terrain, I like it to be able to do more than one thing. Yeah, that's going to look good when we put another layer on top of that. Like so. But this one obviously is that's not the right choice. That one looks a little too broken. That's going to look good. This is going to take a good minute, but it'll be fun. And I definitely don't want them to look too repetitive in size. I want it to be very kind of natural. Yeah, so today I will be, as soon as that comes in, today we will be rolling up a character and getting as far into solo play for Farewell to Arms as I can. I think Thursday I am probably going to stick to a Tuesday, Thursday. That kind of gives a day in between. And of course, I'm still going to be doing my streaming in the mornings. That's more of just like a hangout, a hobby hang, kind of talk, kind of vibe. As opposed to, well, I still do work and stuff too. But I'm also going to be doing something like this on Tuesdays, where it's a little bit later because I get started a little bit later on Tuesdays. So the normal schedule does not work. And that, I was afraid for a second would be an issue. That was not an issue. That's good. Yeah, today is the release date for the game found for 1490 Doom, and I'm really excited about that. I had hoped to have this guy done so we could just be playing today. Unfortunately, life happens, as it always does. On a positive note, I wanted to make this and work on this today as much as possible, but I think I have found a way to organize my shop, which also will allow me to have my spray booth up. And I think more room. My wife and I also have picked out the spot that I will be filming like my solo RPG stuff in. It won't be done here. This is essentially going to be the shop. That is going to be the place that I present to you all as a nice looking spot. A key thing that I wanted to do when I came up with the idea for all of this was I wanted to have the ability to show you all how I make everything, and I wanted it to be high quality, high production. I wanted to have what I needed from the start to make the content, and then just, you know, as it grows, grow with it. But from the beginning, I wanted to be able to provide you all with high quality something, so there would be a reason to actually listen or to watch. And I knew that I wanted to do that in the area that I work in, to show you how I build it, and then the area that I play in, to show you how we actually use all this stuff. So a key part of why I've done all the things that I've done, I've been planning this for a long time. Everything has to be done in certain orders. I'm excited about the spray booth because that was one I just could not get my head wrapped around. But things have worked out unintentionally to now I already have another hole to run my vent out of. Originally, I was on the other side of the house, which is where I'll be filming the games, and a more presentable, not just my workshop. And it actually has space for a 4x4 board to have the same kind of setup here that I have. The ceiling over here is lower. I have my HVAC system right above me, which doesn't matter for me because I'm like, I'm just standing up working. But if we were playing something, that could be, an issue for someone that's taller. Over there, there is nothing. I look at the ceiling. It's the highest point in the ceiling in our basement. So it just kind of looks like the right vibe. And then I've got my other anchor points, the wall mounts from Elgato came in today. So I will be putting those up in a similar fashion that I have them here. And the end goal, right now they're currently just on 2x4s across the beams of my basement. And that's just more of a for a sturdy, to make them stable. The original idea, and I still need to work on this, was to have a mobile, a point almost like a Lazy Susan. Now that I'm thinking about it, I could use that. I could use a Lazy Susan for that. Buy one that can hold. I already have a couple that can hold a couple hundreds of pounds. Hang that from there. Put a Lazy Susan on it to where it can bend, rotate. Yeah, and then I would just have to put locks at intervals to where I could stop it. Yeah, okay, well, never mind, fuck it. I figured out how I'm going to make my my radial for both sides. That way I can change where the lights are as well as where's my camera while they're all hanging from the ceiling, but they are all still equally secure. All those Lazy Susans that I have hold at least 500 pounds. Okay, so yeah, Lazy Susans have come a really long way, apparently. Which is funny, given that they're called Lazy Susans. You lazy Mary. I don't know if this is good entertainment or not. I'm just trying to get this castle built and figure out talking. I talk a lot. Got a lot to say. Yeah, okay. We're going to definitely need more super glue in this, but... Put a little drop of super glue right there. Hello, chat. How are you all? Hope your day is going okay. Thank you for your time and joining me, hanging out while I work on this little castle. No. Yeah, and of course, you know, once I get 1490 Doom finished, Tuesdays, Thursdays, leaning towards Thursday. Thursday would be the day that in the afternoon we would actually play games of, say, like Trench Crusade, 1490 Doom, Necropolis. Tuesday would definitely be a day that I think will be the solo RPG day, or working on stuff specifically for Trench Crusade, because I really like the name Tunnel Rat Tuesday. That's just fun. Thursday, I haven't really come up with a name for it yet, but Thursday or Wednesday will be the other day that I will be streaming in the afternoons, probably around like 7 Eastern, for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on, I guess, what we're playing, or how long that takes. Just doing that regularly. Wanted to go ahead and throw that out there, and I need to write that out there. I'll put that on a schedule. I keep saying I'll do that, but oh boy, it's hard trying to come up with all this on your own. But I've had a lot of help, so it's not really on my own. Yeah, I kind of know what I'm doing. Kind of, but... Uh-oh. Boop. Yeah, that's going to look good. Once these are dry, oh boy. You're going to be like, man, I tell you what, I'd buy that roof. Might need to get some zip kicker over here, because I don't think I've got this in me for the rest of this haul. We might actually even switch to hot glue. We might be switching to hot glue real quick, because yeah, I'm not doing this. This super glue is starting to piss me off. We're just gonna get the hot glue gun out. And I'm gonna finish my coffee while I do that. It is now cold. This was a terrible choice on my part to wait this long. All right, hot glue gun time. That was probably what the choice should have been from the very beginning. But hey, you know, your boy loves a challenge. Even when there doesn't need to be one. I also recently got tired of running out of glue sticks, so I bought a lot of glue sticks. I don't want to run out again and then have to wait. So I bought a lot. Just in case. And I don't need this blue tack because this looks wonderful. So there's just no reason to keep this blue tack over here. We already know we like it. Speaking of wonderful, I sure wish one of my wonderful children would come hang out with me and keep me company. They don't give a shit. They're not going to come. If I had to guess. Almost certainly. Theodore and Margot are both laying in the living room. Right about there, where the sun comes through, laying in the sun. They do that for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Every day. That's what they do. If you're just joining, I'm not just talking about what my cats do throughout the day. Also, yeah, I don't have real kids. Like, my kids are fluffy. They are real kids. Let me rephrase that. I'm like, I wish my children would come hang out with me. Those are my fluffy children, who are very real. Yeah. And no, they're definitely not. They don't give a shit about what I'm doing right now. I'm waiting on the hot glue gun to warm up. That's what I'm doing. And I've already drank my cold coffee. So From here, we are going to, as soon as this warms up, get back to gluing. So I guess I could start breaking more of these or going through them and figuring out the ones that I want to use or not. Some of these have a very prominent indentation because of the pliers. Whenever I broke them, I used pliers. And that's fine. I think for the most part, a lot of it will be covered up, so you won't really be able to see them. And depending on where I did it, some of them you can't see at all. So, but yeah, and this is absolutely not necessary level of detail, but I think it is absolutely worth it. And I think it will pay off. I think this is going to look so stupid sick. Yeah, and I think doing them out of wood, one, the hot glue will hold them. Two, again, basting everything in essentially wood glue, watered down wood glue and sand will be like kind of coating this thing in a very thin layer of concrete, kind of. And that's how I do a lot of my building. A lot of the stuff that I really use little model kits and plastics these days. I mainly just build things out of trash because it's easier for me to justify. Man, that's a weird realization. It's easier for me to justify spending no money on something that I can make look exactly like what I want with a little bit of work, as opposed to taking a model that costs X amount of money and cutting it all apart to get a little piece that I wanted. I've done that for damn near, 2 decades, more than 2 decades, but almost 3. 2.5. Hee hee. That's gonna be so fun. Wonderful. That's what they'll say. And I say they when they come over the hill and they see this beautiful castle, they'll say wonderful, and then they get thrown off of it. And while they're falling, they'll say, "Man, look at that beautiful, beautiful roof." That is a roof that I'm glad I got to see before I died. But again, they'll have to be thrown from a specific angle to see it while falling. So that I didn't think about that. But, I'm just the guy building the roof. Yeah. Do I need to zoom in a little bit? Sorry. So I need to also use my new camera lens. Got that new 250, and probably can zoom in a lot more intense, but I don't think that's going to be when we get the Predator cam set up, so we can do the over-the-shoulder. That's an over-the-shoulder Predator cam, not any other kind of Predator cam. But I do love the idea of this turning into a DIY Chris Hansen setup. Good morning, Possum. How are you? I was just talking about the Predator cam, so you probably just heard me talk about a DIY Chris Hansen setup, which I feel like that is just waiting to be turned into an OSR RPG. I don't know if I want to be the guy to turn it into one, but I am filled with fervor to strike down my enemies. Yes, I concur. I'm gonna probably, yeah, I put that on there, and I did not put the wood on there quick enough. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're filled with fervor. I think I mentioned it earlier on, but I'll mention it again just for you, Possum. So I think I discussed it with my wonderful wife, Kelly, and I think we have decided Tuesday will definitely be a streaming day for the afternoon. So Tuesdays afternoon, I will be streaming starting this Tuesday at 7 Eastern time for an hour and a half to 2 hours. And I think that is going to be my regular streaming time for a solo RPG, like playing like solo RPGs. Specifically, though, or see that's the other part. I'm just like, I really wanted to call it Tunnel Rat Tuesday. That's what it comes down to. Tunnel Rat Tuesday is just such a fun name, and I'm like, I really want to use that after I came up with it. So there's that. And today is Tuesday, and Farewell to Arms comes in the mail today. So I would be able to make a character and start playing that tonight on Tunnel Rat Tuesday. So that just seems like it's meant to be. But yeah, our character that we made for Merkborg, I think I'm going to use that to play through Merkborg. And that I love Solitary Defilement, but Merkborg, I love Merkborg. I don't think that's a secret that anybody doesn't know. I think I might have been one of the first Americans with that hat. I don't know. I ordered so much fucking Merkborg stuff the day that shit came available. I went really crazy for all that stuff the moment that I found out about it. And then it got really, really popular. And it should, because it's fucking great. Love Merkborg. Just a flail to the face, baby. So yeah, ranting about that. We made a character for Merkborg yesterday, and I'm really excited to play with them. I think I'm going to be doing that on Thursdays or Wednesdays. I'm thinking Thursdays, though. Thursdays seem like a good day. Tuesdays and Thursdays, that just gives... This is going to look so good. Oh, my God. I just looked at this, and it's just like, man, I can see how it's going to look over this whole thing. And this is going to be so rad. I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped about how rad this is. Never thought you would like Merkborg. Wouldn't even know how I would get that impression. It's true. Also, I've been leaning on... not even leaning on that. Yeah, I really want to make... I have so many of those trees, and I'm just like, man, I need to make some trees. But the fact that I guess one of the things I love is that because the community loves Merkborg, we have things like Forbidden Psalms. People just naturally trying to blend the two worlds, which is already what I love to do myself, because I love making anything to kind of give more of an idea of what we're talking about when we're playing games. I love visual aids. A lot of people are visual learners, and I am too. So I like to condone that. Oh no, I'm getting hot glue all over me. So yeah, I'm thinking Thursdays. Thursdays would be the day that... Tuesdays, Thursdays are the days that I'm going to stream 7 o'clock Eastern time for probably an hour and a half to 2 hours. I'm going to say 2 hours. But, and I think we are going to do... The first games are going to be Merkborg, Solo, and Farewell to Arms. And then as soon as I have this board finished, we will branch into 1490. It will probably be on the Thursday or Wednesday, because Tuesday, there's just no tunnels. There's no tunnels in 1490 that I can think of. And Tunnel Rat Tuesday is the name I really like. So I really want to stick with that one. And then, hey, if we can come up with a name for Wednesday and Thursday. Over the Top is another one. Over the Top Wednesday over the top, Friday over the top, Thursday. That kind of fits with anything because there's nothing over the top Thursday though. There's teas. I like thinking about little names. I think everybody knows this though. Kelly and I often are just pondering band names. We have a list of ongoing band names. That's where Red Wet Skeleton came from. It was the very first on the list of, man, that's a good band name. That's AM or PM. 7:30 p.m. Eastern time for streaming those games. I'm still gonna do like my morning hobby hangs. I still am planning on doing that. Tuesday is the only day like today. Today's the only day that's just like the morning hobby hangs are kind of hard. I guess I could still. No, that's. Now that I'm thinking about it, if Tuesday is just like sit down, kind of chat, wake up, kind of go over what I'm gonna work on today, and then we end quicker, and then I have my coffee, kind of set up, and then do a stream like this. That's probably what Tuesdays will be. Tuesday's probably gonna be my bigger streaming day, just because my wife goes to work a little bit earlier, and then she comes home a little bit earlier. So then we get time to hang out and stuff. So then I'm usually like really excited to like stream. And then she gets her own time to like paint. Whoop. Well, that's just silly. Get off of there. What are you doing? I'm just like, choose me. And I'm like, okay, you get to go on. You are a little long though. That's why. That's why they're like, choose me. Actually, no, they just wanted it because they're great. You're just a great little piece of popsicle stick. So yeah, and I absolutely all that stuff. I'm going to make a post. I'm going to write this down. And that's mainly why I was just like, I really like the name Tunnel Rat Tuesday, and I already am like, I want to make little stickers. I want to make little emblems. Same thing with like the Grimdark Distillery. I've been trying to, all of that. That's the whole thing. It's just like, hey. I guess this is the kind of thing that I want to do as a job because it's the kind of thing that my brain just does. Like I'm never off the clock because it's just the kind of stuff that's just in my head. I don't know. I've been so in love with gaming of all kinds that it's just like that's the default reality that my brain goes to in the background all the time, and it has been that way since. Forever. Not like, oh, well, this one game. It's just, no. I've always had a probably too active imagination. But it's very handy for certain things. Now, hold on a minute. Wah. Yeah. So I also want to use some of these wider pieces because that's another thing that I've noticed among a bunch of like older buildings from the time period is it's just like, okay, so they were not really too picky in certain spots. And if I had to guess, maybe some of these shingles that they used were actually made from the leftover bits of wood that they had to cut for the house. That kind of seems like it would make sense. That's kind of what I'm doing. But they didn't build things out of popsicle sticks. Oh shit. It's also Flames Day. Oh shit, it is Flames Day. I'm not trying to show no love to Steve. I love Steve. He's my favorite fireman. And I have a fireman-in-law. So that's saying something. No shade at my family-in-law. And it's just more of a, I love Steve. He's great. Steve is such a sweet person. And I think when I told him that I was initially afraid to talk to him because he looks like someone that would bully me, his response of that makes me so sad. In his face, it was just like, well, now I feel bad. I feel like I've been a bully to Steve. He's just absolutely a wonderful person. And I am ashamed to say I have not put any time into looking into Flames of War other than looking at your models, Possum, which were sick. And the models that I think Sean made. Sean made some really sick models too, that I saw at Adepticon. All the stuff that I've seen is rad. And I love the fact, you're very welcome. I love big robot games. Like it's gonna happen. I'm going to either A, start playing one, or B, make my own. Um, and no one has made one that feels the way that like I want it to play in my head. That might be my first love. Like truthfully, is kaiju. Kaiju might be like my intro to all of the stuff that makes me like who I am. It might be Godzilla. When I was, I think one of my earliest like toys, and it was just such an easy leap because I love dinosaurs. Dinosaurs like were I was obsessed with dinosaurs, lizards, reptiles, amphibians as a kid. Utterly obsessed, and I still am. I love them. I love learning about them. Love having them. I've never owned mini reptiles. Kelly's has owned a lot more than I have, but fish have always been more. My mom was more okay to let me have fish than reptiles because reptiles. There are so many things that you can get if you don't properly take care of them from like health reasons. Like you're like, oh yep, this is not good, and she was more aware of who I was than I was as a child. So I'm glad that I didn't get like E. coli or salmonella. So, with that said, yeah, Godzilla, dinosaurs. I loved dinosaurs, and I had a Godzilla toy that. So I have my. This is like from the 2000 Godzilla, maybe, or is that 99? I don't know. Shit, 98, 99. When that one Godzilla came out, it was just Godzilla the reboot. Isaac's mechs are also very cool. I think they're in the book. Isaac's mechs, I did see those. They are amazing. Sorry, I didn't mean to just talk about Godzilla. But and I've seen it in so many movies now at this point. But it's one of the original 80s like Godzilla figures. They were about like this tall. They're very clunky. But mine, it had its fingernails clipped off because my mom thought they were too scary. So, but yeah, she has that on like a shelf in her house. And I was like, I mean, I can fix those. I could put those nails back the way they're supposed to now. So I think at some point I might do that. But yeah, that's like my first intro into. I like weird shit. I think outside of dinosaurs, the first like imaginary fantasy, anything not normal, like or not normal but not real, like not based in reality, was Godzilla. I love giant monsters. Always have, always will. And the only thing that really gets me as pumped is giant monsters. It's giant robots to fight them. Like that's it. Like, and that's the only I can't stress enough. Like, if we are in a Godzilla kind of situation where it's like, oh my god, there's kaiju. Fuck you if you have any like idea of how to fix the problem that doesn't involve giant robots. I don't want to hear it. No matter how sound it is. That's just my stance on that. I have a very firm stance. And if you're like, but Eli, that sounds like you're not wanting like the world to get better. It sounds like you're just wanting to have giant monsters fighting robots. Yeah. How are we going to fix the giant monster problem? You don't really fix things like that. You could build giant robots though. That would be awesome. I'm just thinking. Clearly things aren't going great if we're at the part where giant monsters are here. Might as well build giant robots too. But I want a game like that. I want a game that lets me like feel like some Pacific Rim kind of vibes. I need to look at Steve's rule set. Adeptus Titanicus is, I'm very firm, very clear how I feel about Games Workshop, especially their game design. But I stand very, very, very firm. It is the best game they've ever made, is Adeptus Titanicus. From a rules set, it's the only game I've ever played by them that I was like, holy shit, this is good. This is actually really well thought out. And it's not It's because it's not trying to be sold to you as and by the rules of Adeptus Titanicus, I mean specifically the rule book, like how the game works. I don't mean the fact that Games Workshop did everything that they do with everything, which is where they take something that they could just give you and they split it into as many pieces as possible to try and milk the idea as much as they can. That's not good. The rules that they came up with, how the game actually works, how it functions, how it plays merit. It's the first game that I think I've ever seen Games Workshop make that I was like, holy fuck, this is like as close to explaining how to do narrative gaming as you can. And I think the biggest, that's honestly why I think it's the most unsuccessful game that they've made, because they made a really fucking rad game, and it does have the other side of that is they priced it so absurdly expensive, and the thing about that is it's like, yeah, the model is sick when you look at like the warlords are, they're the most enjoyable model I ever built from Games Workshop, but they're also the only one that I've ever built that I was like, this kind of feels like a model kit, not just like a glue by numbers. They're just different. It's a different experience. It's the closest thing to building Gunpla, or any, Gundam model, or any model kit. It's the closest thing to real model kits that Games Workshop has made that I've seen. And I've built a fuck ton of their models, but I loved that kit. The mold lines on it are abysmal. Abysmal. It's got problems. However, that the price was the main one. That's why I think it didn't go where it did. And the fact that, again, it was not a game designed with match play in mind, and that's why it's so fucking good. It's designed to tell a story. And the first game that Kelly and I played, it highlights how narrative play works so well. That's why I think I was sold on it from right there. It was just like, man, okay, our game, it was just kind of a slugfest for just a couple turns, and then literally the last turn, the board was wiped, and it was wiped in a plasma holocaust. Like one of our titans like punched into like another one, causing it to have a catastrophic meltdown, which like caused it to explode, which caused that one to explode, and it was just a chain reaction. Like our shit was all so close together, and that is something that's just like, I mean, technically nobody won. We both died. It was like the something BattleTech. Yeah, I've never played BattleTech. I don't know how to start with BattleTech. That's my issue. And it's the same thing, like, Infinity sounds rad. Infinity is a game that I've wanted to play for forever. They've done such a bad job at handling how to present that there's no way in hell I ever will play it. Even if they gave me the stuff. Because I'm just upset by how unaware you could be, like, with their website. It's one of the worst websites I've ever seen. And I've been to places on the internet. Like, it's just bad. I don't understand how to learn about the game. And I find that very frustrating. But BattleTech, very easy. A game of armored combat box. Oh. Well, that is easier. BattleTech's website is not as hard. BattleTech, it's more of that there are so many boxes, and I had not been like paying attention to it being released and that kind of stuff. Now, as far as that, my dear Possum, would you say that BattleTech is worth looking into as opposed to just playing Flames? I'm not trying to put you on the spot. This isn't a... Or does it need... I assume Flames is... I get the impression that Flames is a completely new system that Steve has made. It sounds like I need to just like look into Flames of War. Or Flames of Orion, not Flames of War. Depends on what you want. Oh. Okay. See, Flames, I got the impression that Flames is probably more of what I want. BattleTech, it seems like BTech is very crunchy. Okay, yep, so there we go. That is okay, but I do like crunch. sometimes, but it just depends. The things that I love that were crunchy about like Titanicus were like, I love guess ranges. One, I'm a psycho like that. Two, I love having like, but also very narrative. Okay, it sounds like I need to just do some research. Also, this has nothing to do with 1490, but that's completely fine because it is flame state too, and I forgot. So that was just me realizing what am I talking about. Now I really want to talk about flames though, but also very narrative. So here's the thing. I feel like also I don't hear about things because like I'm typically like really busy on something, and someone's like, "Hey, have you looked into this?" And I'm like, "No, I'm really busy doing this." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I probably should have just been like, "Let me take a look at that right now," but then I don't get stuff done. See, them boys, they like to play lots of games, like different games. I'm a 3 or 4 games in my life kind of guy. And I mean like different games, not like I only like to play. I'm only gonna play one more game and then I'm done. But like, I like to really love a game to the point that I don't. If you would like, I could always walk you through a game on the free program MegaMech. Well, that sounds wonderful. That sounds great. That sounds awesome. That's another thing. Like, I am aware, like, there are so many things that I don't take advantage of as far as how to like engage with people. It's just like, yeah, there's tabletop simulator. There's a lot of things out there that I could be taking advantage of. But yeah, it's just a lot to completely relearn. Oh, hey, I need to learn how to do this to do my job now, as opposed to stuff that's just not being helpful. But it's been great, man. I'm so excited about this. But yeah, no, I would love that possum. Boo-doo-doo. Dee-dee-dee. Boo-doo-doo. I think this is definitely quicker than the super glue. I think I'm just talkative. I'm a yapper. It's true. I can deny it no longer. There's also TTSP Tech 2. Tabletop Simulator. Oh yeah, yeah. Now that so I did know about that. Like that's, and I do have Tabletop Simulator on my Mac. That's another big problem. I am a, not by like choice. Again, I've never been I'm always been a console kind of guy. But I only use Macs for like work reasons. My knowledge of like PCs is a lot less than people would think. I spent time learning about popsicle sticks. But that is one of the few things that I think that Mac was able to run. Last time I was like, oh hey, what games? And Scythe. I do have Scythe as well. I don't know why. I've not even played it yet. But I really love World War One, so, you know, it was a thing that I planned on playing. Scythe, the board game. For table, or not just the game, the board game. Yes. So I would love to learn. Do they all use the same board size? And its scale? Are they all the same scale? So I assume BattleTech and Flames are smaller scale. Scythe is a very weird but good game. It's like I know it's way more like management. So, and that's the reason that I have it. So I'm the person that loves Risk, but I don't like to play Risk with like people in my house that I live with, because it's very much not what you would think of that game being. Scythe, yeah. So Scythe, I assume, is actually way more of a like political, like building a nation and like a Game of Thrones-esque kind of thing while harvesting resources. Like you could go to war, but probably don't want to. You'd rather do everything without, getting rid of your economic value. I assume it's that kind of a game, if I remember correctly. But the artwork, and I played the
Iron Harvest. It's an economic engine builder game. Yeah, so yeah, it's. I assumed it was much more in line with that, which is why I was thinking of like Game of Thrones and kind of like Settlers. Settlers of Catan. That clue was too dry. I goofed. Yeah, I need to look. I need to look in Battletech. I need to look in Flames. I have all of my Titanicus models that I'm just like, I'm curious what I want to do with them. I don't know the scale of Flames, but if it's the same, that sounds fun. So does Battletech. I would love to convert them into something. Again, I liked Titanicus, but I absolutely am down to play a game made by anyone else, and use those models for. That's the other thing is I put a lot of time into converting like a head and like some parts for a warlord, and I've never even finished them because it's again it's just Games Workshop's like model. Their model for their business is to get you to churn as quickly as possible, and I don't do that. As I say, as I'm literally like Flames and VTech are 6mm. Okay, so Titanicus is just a little bit bigger, but I bet I could make it work. I'll have to look. I wonder the terrain, because I have so much Titanicus terrain. I wonder if the terrain. All right, what's going on here then? You cut that out. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Ah. Yeah, okay, so 6mm to 8mm. That's. The thing about classic VTech is it's played on paper maps. Oh. That's wild. So, okay. Is there a kind that uses like terrain? Because that's, Also, I don't know. Do either of those have like destructible terrain? Because that's another thing I really like doing is just leveling a board. I'm just a goblin man. A goblin kitty man. Doing my thing. Goblining. Reducing the board to rubble. That's kind of a weird thing to think about. I don't know what that says about me as a person, but I enjoy playing the Iron Warriors and just tearing down the board, or playing the guy with a satchel charge in any Battlefield game. So it's just I'm just going to level this town while you guys are playing in it. That's what I'm working on. I was just meant to be in demolition, knocking down big old buildings with my crane, wearing a hard hat, cat calling, all the classic stuff that guys with that work on cranes do. No offense to any crane operators that don't do any of those things. Flames, yes. VTech, kinda. There's also Alpha Strike, which is VTech plays multi 40k. Stop being 4 6 2. That's right. I really like a smaller table these days. Like 4x4 is like the biggest table that I really want to mess with. Anything smaller though is better. Like I love a good 2x2. I really like a good round. Now I gotta tell you though, this is not an issue with 1490. This is an issue with Eli. The round that I got, the edges are curved, so I need to give them a flat edge. I don't want them to be beveled in any way. I like a nice sharp. That way you can set all the models evenly on there. I need to level it out at the edges. Sometimes people will 3D print the terrain on the paper maps and place it on top so it's easier to see what the terrain looks like. Now that That is cool. So that's kind of, that sounds similar to kind of like how Hate, the Adrian Smith game Hate. It had a like kind of a flat board that you technically I don't think needed. Times is anywhere from 2x2 to 4x4. That sounds good to me. I think Steve. I think you know what I like, which is a thing that I didn't really have to say. We already knew you knew what I like. Yeah, yeah. I should check out Flames. That sounds great. All this is sounding great. Awesome. You're a hell of a salesman. And that's when I find out that I've been playing Caveat Emptor this whole time. And you've been selling me a cursed book called Flames of Orion. Well, I would find out now whenever I go to open it. Technically, it was Steve who sold it to me, but you've done a great job selling it. I completely forgot. Now, I need to go look at the game found for Flames now. I really wish, and I guess I could. I need to let this thing get really, really hot. That's the problem. I don't really want to do that. I think that's a monkey in a box. I like a monkey in a box. So many games. Too many games. Well, I mean, technically that is 4 games right there. I just said 3 or 4 games. Oh no. Okay. Necropolis has been looking really, really awesome. I love games that like are just small. Like, hey, we could play this on X amount of, like, you don't have to. Flames is over on Kickstarter. Oh, Flames is on Kickstarter. It's not on GameFound. Well, I'll have to pop on over there. Now, if it's, I wonder what all they have on the Kickstarter, because I have the rule book. And I know that that's something that I probably should already know, being part of the community. I'm a hermit, and I've been working on this castle. Yeah, 9:33. And all is well. We are about to close the circle. Oh, it feels great. Look at that. We got almost a whole ring. That's what it's like when I love a game that you make. Is I'll do this. I will do this for you because I love you and your games. I will print out. I will run Greeblin for a month straight. Possibly ruining our relationship and my own salvation when that AI becomes sentient. And I'm doing that for you, Tomas and Mike and Alexander and James. And it's really actually it's just for myself. I've just wanted a game like Trench Crusade for so fucking long. That's me being selfish. I'm selfish. I'm greedy. Now, 1490. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And some steals if you sign up early. Oh, okay. Cool. I do like STLs. I do already have the rule book, and it is already numbered. But I do want to support Steve because I love him. Yeah, the little castle for Cody. I'm going to build multiple of those. Yeah, I'm really digging. I love the vibe of 1490. And I love also that I've gotten to build one that's like, yep, I'm going to go ham and just like build a really scenic diorama kind of board to play on. And then the next one I think is going to be a modular. Like it will be much more akin to my Forbidden Psalm ones, but round. And again, I love that. I love having boards, being able to have multiple boards in my house, which is not absurdly big. I just don't have children, and I have a basement. But like, oh, I could have multiple boards for this game. That's a possibility with like a game that only uses a 2x2 board. Like having that, it's just not even an option with something like that uses 4x4 boards. So it's just like my 4x4 board. It's just like it's kind of got to be a modular board. It's got to do a lot of double duty. But I say that and I'm like, I mean, I'll probably No, it has to be modular now that I'm thinking about it. This is me talking to myself and also trying to convey what I'm doing, but also working on it at the same time. And that is me talking about Trench Crusade. So I have printed so much terrain for Trench Crusade, and I have so much terrain that I'm converting for Trench Crusade. And the reason it's just like, oh, you can only put so much on the board at any time. It's like, that is true. However, I really am so stoked. It is like the entire vibe of what I want out of a game. So I really wanted to do a lot with the campaign play. It is definitely probably the game that I'm going to have the most on my channel because it is just it and Merkborg. The closer you are to Merkborg and Trench Crusade, like the closer that is like to just like the shit that I love. So like Farewell to Arms, it's just World War One and like really metal shit. That is my jam so hard, and I'm so pumped. So it's just like I've had to make all the terrain. I've had to. And I want to have a. There are a lot of little towns. This town is the Greendale Grimdale from 3D layered scenery, and they make a couple different little towns. And I have purchased all but one. And I'm going to be going through them and printing them for my games that I'm going to be like showcasing here. And I think the next ones that I'm going after Grimdale is probably going to be for like Forbidden Psalm, 14 of Doom, a much more low fantasy as opposed to like World War kind of, 1914 era, but very much Bloodborne-esque. The rest of like the scenery that I've gotten from them is like what you would need to build Bloodborne. Like if you're really, really, really in love with the game Bloodborne, weirdly enough, and you wanted to like rebuild it in its entirety. Well, with enough STLs from this dude, I think you could do it. And I think I'm not going to do that, but it's going to be very much that vibe. And with Trench Crusade, I'm wanting to have a campaign map similar to what I did with Warhammer. In Warhammer, I made a sector. The Totrata sector. That's where Vestarion is. It's where Phaeton is. Phaeton is not listed in its own sector canonically. I picked where Phaeton was on the map. I figured Games Workshop has not done the work. I did all this work, made a bunch of planets, populated all the planets, populated the densities, populated the types of planets. I spent, years working on a project to build this for my gaming community to play in. And we had a lot of fun in it for about a decade or two. I really want to do that with Trench Crusade. And I'm really torn because I love the idea of picking Avignon because I absolutely love the history of France during World War One. They're just so fucking hard. And I really like the French Foreign Legion from a historical standpoint. I've loved learning about that. There's just so much stuff in France that I want to kind of focus on. The Zone Rouge, a lot of stuff like that. But I also feel like if I place it there, it is too far in to make really an argument of why the Sultanate would be there, unless they were sent. Nope. Okay, fuck it. We're gonna go with that. I have an idea. I think that was the only one that I was really kind of worried about. But there is a reason that they would all be there. If there is a Hellmouth there, it's opened up. So okay, yeah. I want to make a very large area, like a map, and I want it to be a living map. As the campaign play goes over the years with Trench Crusade, the story that I wanted to tell in this area of the map that I'm claiming for myself. And that's another thing that I love about Trench Crusade, that I love But honestly, the people that are making it is that wasn't too big, and that's why I was waiting. This is the one I was trying to put there. I love that at the bottom of the pages, they are the people that put, you know, all of this is a personal account of so and so, and it is, you know, almost guaranteed to be like not accurate. I love that that is solely there for a build your own like adventure kind of hook, and it's just wonderful to see that out the gate. And again, it's because the game that they're wanting to make is the game that they are wanting to make, not a game that they are trying to make money off of, and that's why I want to support them. That's it's a passion, a project love. You can tell that. I definitely got that impression talking to them. I had a very specific opinion when I went there. I'm gonna make sure this sits on here real quick. I'm gonna be real excited, I'm sure. Yeah. Oh fuck, that's rad. Okay, I'll pick it up. Yeah, it's gonna look so good. So, can't get it too close to that one, but I can get it closer to this guy. As you can see, in the little corner, it's going to sit right around that lip now with the shingles. So that was unintentional, but hell yeah. So that's the biggest circle done. So that was the biggest time-consuming part. It was the outer, the whitest part. Now we're just going to be layering up over time. But yeah, so I'm making a very large map, cartography, like kind of map, that I'm wanting to have the games for Trench Crusade played on and affected by over time. And I want to be able to say, okay, or this group is moving into this area, they encounter so and so, it's around here. Well, that is where the so and so house is, and I have terrain built to go how that looks that I can put on my modular board. And I want to be able to do that for a very large chunk of land. I'm not sure how big, but pretty fucking big. Because it's got a hellmouth in it. I want to make boards that look like you are in hell. I've been playing a good amount of Lords of the Fallen, and that has been a wonderful inspiration. That aesthetic is something that I've always loved. Just giant, monstrous faces and arms coming out of walls and stuff. It's just great. So I really want to make a board that looks like that. I've got all kinds of fun teeth, other things. It's calling to me. It needs to happen. And just saying the BTEC book, Campaign Ops, has system planet generated tables that are crazy detailed, like the stuff you did for your WXC. Yeah, so that kind of stuff. Like, I love that kind of stuff. And yeah, so if that sounds like the crunchy kind of, I would expect that sounds more. I got the impression that BattleTech was much more akin to a 40K kind of thing, where it's like, yep, there is a core box, but there are so many other things that it's just like, you might need this, you might need that. You have to learn what you need before you really should like buy anything. And that's a weird kind of like self-realization of like, man, I feel like I've listened to people say that with like Warhammer for years, and it's just like, oh, well, I can explain. And it's just like, well, man, now I'm feeling the other side of that. That's weird. That one, I don't want them to be too close to each other. I need to break more of these up so we can have some little ones. Yeah, I also didn't mean to completely start ranting about my own shit with Trench Crusade. It's just more of a... I want a game where I can fight robots. I love big robots fighting. And I know that a lot of them are coming out. There's a lot of them robot fighting games I heard about on the internets. And I'd love if they had kaiju. Hell, maybe Steve just needs someone to hack flames and add kaiju in it for him. And if that's what the world needs, then I guess I'll do it. First, I should probably learn anything about flames, though. But that was my intention, honestly, with Titanicus, was I really want to make a game where just giant robots fighting demons or kaiju or just monsters, Evangelion shit, you know, that biz. Nah, BTEC is very much just buy some robots and get started. Okay, well, never mind. I guess I shouldn't make assumptions. You know what that does? I'm wrong. Makes me look wrong, because I am. This guy's a little bit long. That guy's really long. Dude, look great together. Look at you. You're beautiful. Ba-dow. Yeah. Look at that. I'm loving it. So BTEC. Old Battle Tech. It's Flames Day. Possum's trying to convince me to buy into BTEC. I mean, I've thought about it long before. You're not trying to convince me. I definitely have. The big thing keeping classic Battletech back is people's fear that it's too complicated, but it is a game that is very intuitive. Okay, well that's honestly, that is what it looks very complicated. Titanicus is fairly complicated. It definitely is more complicated, like that. Absolutely, I will say that for a fact. Like Titanicus it's a good game in that it's not a pay to win. It's a game where thinking strategically, like you have to, because of why not both? That is true. I already have flames, so I need to see. I need to do like some scale comparisons myself. I keep putting that one there. I need to glue something else there apparently, because I'm just going to keep picking up that guy and trying to put the glue. It scalded me, but not really. Okay, why not both? That is right. Why not both? I did it again. I did it again. Maybe? No. Here? Yes. And the glue is completely gone. Yeah, that's, I don't know. What time is it? 9:49. That's okay. I've been doing this for, almost an hour and a half. I'm just like, that might be, I might need to take like a step away, a stand up. We are supposed to get groceries in the next little bit, and I'm waiting on them to show up. They kind of do it whenever they want, not when they say. And that's fine. I appreciate not having to go into town and interact with people. And it's just quicker. Beep, beep, beep. That's not like I'm a grump. It's more like I have anxiety. I'm an anxious person. Sorry, I don't mean to be silent. I think, so I'm sure I've mentioned that I got the green screen in. The AGOAC box also comes with the universe. Okay, what is this called? It's called the... Nope. Okay. Wow. Nope. I need to get... So BattleTech normally is played. So the AG. Oh, let me see. I will have to look into that. All right, man. Oh. Now you get to join the club with Atri Possum of I have convinced Eli to play a different game than what he had planned on. I mean, also that I had written off Trench Crusade, so I'm very glad that I was convinced to give Trench Crusade another shot because I fucking love Trench Crusade. And if you have 8 max convert, and if you hate it, you have 8 max convert for flames, so they'll cost you $60. That is true. That's not bad. So, AGOAC bots. And that was a little song. BattleTech. BattleTech. Box. Set. A game of armored combat. Okay. That does look fun. You know, it says customers usually keep this item. I forgot that I was on. I forgot that I was streaming, and you can also see my phone. So I don't know. I don't know what you saw. I don't think anything weird. Man, I got to tell you. Speaking on that note, though, weird things. I don't know. They don't have it at mine because they suck. I think they might have it at Hard Knocks. My friendly local gaming store. So I might run there today. I probably don't need to. But I might. I probably will. And then I could get a little bit of Flames action in on Flames of Orion Day too, if I really wanted. Oh boy. But it's Trench Rat Tuesday, or Tall Rat Tuesday. It's Trenchfoot Tuesday, baby. It's the worst day of my life. Trenchfoot Tuesday. Yep. Possum, I'm glad that you encouraged me just talking into the ether. I would feel very lonely. Let's see. So, yeah, no, I'm probably gonna go pick that up, and I'm probably gonna be really excited. So here's the thing: I love Mech Warrior, but I don't understand. Not only do I not know the lore, other than there's clans, and that's where Mad Cats and Timberwolves come from. We can also do a demo day someday before you go and splurge. True. That's probably the more responsible thing to do. I just really want to know. I need to get, because I have so much stuff built for Titanicus, and I know I'm so intimately knowledgeable about that scale. I'm just like, well, how can I make it work? I don't know. I'll be bad. I'll probably go and I'll just look and I'll just see what's there. Maybe. No, I need to work on this fucking castle. Eli, what are you doing? I need to work on the castle, and I need to work on getting my area set up. I have other stuff I need to do today. I should do that. We should do a demo. I don't need to be impulsive. God, this is gonna look so good, though, when it's done. Holy shit. You're gonna be like, damn, that looks like it took a lot of time. And I'll be like, it did. And I'll just cry. Yeah, no, this is getting me so stoked though. This is gonna look so good. And I'm really excited about the BattleTech stuff too. Like I've been trying to figure out what I want to do with so much of my like 40K stuff. I've hit such a weird relationship point with it where it's kind of like when you've been in a relationship where you know that the other person doesn't give a shit about you, and you're finally realizing that. And it's just like, but I have so much of their stuff. That's how it feels, at least. not to have heavy vibes here. But to be real, I feel like everybody kind of knows that I bring around the heavy vibes sometimes. But who's to say? I got to tell you, I absolutely love hot glue because of how useful it is. But that is like hot glue string is it's just the worst. Weeping with joy is the proud castle father you are. Exactly, man. I look at this and I think, you know what? I remember when I sat down at this table with 3 buckets, so 3 pots. Might have been 4. Might have been 4 pots, and I said we're gonna make a castle to make Cody proud. And I look at it now and I think, yeah, that looks like something I'd love to throw somebody off of. My daughter Margot, she came in today and she said, man, and I was like, what? Timmy's in the well because you threw him off the fucking castle into it. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I saw that coming. Because it's 1490 Doomsday, baby. So, yeah, that's all that tracks. But we got to build the castle. We got to finish the castle first. Man, this is taking a while, though. Oh, boy. So I appreciate the company. I appreciate learning of the Battletech. And being reminded about flames. Like, I seriously forgot all about that because I've just been trying to keep track of how much of this sprawling amount of France I am trying to print. And at the same time, build a castle for 1490. And also come up with ideas for solo RPG stuff. Which I'm very excited about. Again, these are problems that I love to have. I'm not bitching. I'm actually really excited. These are the most exciting problems that I've ever had. That might not be entirely true. The most exciting problem I've ever had might have been an Osprey. Just because that's like, man, I didn't see that one coming. But that was in telecom. It's not often that you think that your life will be greatly affected by a really fucking angry, scary, big bird. But if you work in telecom, you know that is actually not the case, and that sometimes your life can be ground to a halt for like a year because there's just a really big bird that like wants to have babies where it wants to, and that's that. Ospreys, baby. Osprey babies, baby. Yeah, man, I'm so excited about this. This is going to look so fucking rad. I'm going to be so excited. When this is done, I'm going to throw my wife right off the top. I say that, I cannot stress enough. Looking at, like, our lists, I am going to be thrown off the top. I don't even have anyone. I don't have a brute. Kelly has a brute, so she literally can throw. I can push people. I am very much getting the impression that, as with most things with Kelly, Kelly and I, we have kind of like, I mean, we kind of have modes, but like our games, we have characters that we gravitate towards. Kelly is absolutely the barbarian. Like, she loves a character that has just absurd strength and just smashes things. Yeah, she does most of the BioShock playthroughs with just the pipe wrench. The bird, not the plane copter. The bird. Wait, the bird? Oh, osprey. Now I get it. Yeah, osprey birds. Really big osprey, like really big birds. They the nests that they make are metal as fuck because like the bottom of like the tower will just be covered in bones. Like animal bones, fish bones, typically fish bones. Like ospreys are typically, I think, more like in the water. Like there's typically a lake or something nearby that ospreys like nest, but they're like protected. Like there's all the birds that are like insane enough to go and make a nest on a tower. Like they're big enough that you're like, holy, is that a nest? Like on a cell tower. Like all of them are on the list of, yeah, don't fuck with that bird or you go to prison. And everyone involved also goes to prison. Like, and that's not like trade secrets. That's just like facts. Like there are so many. Oh, now I don't know. Fuck, we've closed down like national parks and shit. But yeah, I don't know now. But before, yeah, I would say still now. There's no way that that's not, because it's so. Again, if that has been changed, because they are changing things that you can't just change. The only way you can be like, oh, I can change that is if you don't fundamentally understand the system. I'm not trying to get, political and stuff. I'm just saying, the birds are there, and like if you do anything to like possibly piss off that bird, you could go to prison for a hot minute, because they are like insanely protected, and it's like you doing it like puts the people who own the tower and own everything else liable. Like it's such a convoluted thing that it's just like, yep, that's the craziest problem that you could have is a bird. That's the craziest problem I've ever had, was a really big bird. Now that's not to say like it would be crazier than if a giant bird broke into my house. That would then be the craziest thing. Or if Big Bird showed up in my house, I'd be like, hell, dog, come on in. You taught me all kinds of shit about reading. That's a Sesame Street reference. For those of you all who do not know, Sesame Street was a really dope show. Don't know if it's still around or not. You can find lots of horrifying pictures of most of the puppets abandoned in a warehouse. So I don't think it is. Specifically Snuffleupagus, I remember being very frightening for a lot of people. Because it's like, it's so big. It's such a big puppet that they have to hang it from like the ceiling. So it's some like real Ed Gein looking shit, but with Snuffleupagus. Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely part of me that finds that kind of stuff really interesting. Because part of me also knows that it's like, yeah, someday someone's gonna like go into my house and find not the Ed Gein shit, the big puppet shit. Like, if I die and like, I guess it'll be Kelly. I have to fucking deal with all my shit. But the idea of buying a warehouse that like it's just been forgotten about and it's just full of any of the shit that I have made over the years. Do you think Big Bird is a protected endangered bird? Man, I don't know. I think Big Bird is like not. I don't feel like Sesame Street with like the official Big Bird. I don't think that they are still the thing. I think that Big Bird was retired, but I don't know. I don't know if they still use Big Bird and stuff, right? Like they have to have a new Big Bird. Like there has to be a new Big Bird. There can only be one Big Bird, though. We all know that. We also know, thanks to. So here's another thing about why Big Bird. So Big Bird checks a lot of boxes for a while. I like to talk about it. One is the bit that Margot does not understand that Jim Henson and Tim Henson, the lead guitarist of Polyphia, my favorite guitarist, she doesn't understand that those are. The joke is that she does not understand that they are two different people. She thinks that they are one. That the same musician is also the one who invented Big Bird. So yeah, that's just a little indoor bit at our house. So typically, because I love the Muppets, because I love all these things, it just leads to a lot of, oh shit, is that Big Bird? Man, I love Jim Henson's music. It's so good. That kind of stuff. Little goofy bits like that. We got a shirt made for my buddy Sam that has a picture of Margot that looks unfucking hinged, where she's like grabbing her tower, and she used to do this thing where she still does it. She goes in and she smacks her paws on the tower, and it looks like the way that he plays a part in the Goat music video. And it's specifically a 17 note interval. It's like boom, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong, ding. It's just super discordant and it's wonderful. And Margot genuinely likes it as well as I do. She's like, oh, this is soothing. Discordant music's wonderful. So all that ranting about Big Bird is because there is a picture that I have seen that I really like, and I don't I don't know at this point if Jim Henson actually drew it or not, or if it's a bit. But I love it, and I want to believe that he drew it. But it was Big Bird's head in a box made of mirrors because Big Bird's head has to be stored in a mirror box. That's the only way to keep him dead. He is eternal, and like if you're going to like end Big Bird, that's how you have to do it. I've seen this picture, like, and I'll find it and I'll put it like in the Discord and stuff, but it is just a really insane, just like scribble, and it looks like his scribbles. That's why I love it so much. It's just Big Bird's head with X's over the eyes in a box, and it's just box made of mirrors. And it's with like the early drawings of Big Bird, and it's just like, part of me really likes to think that he invented this character and then also was just like, by the way, if you ever need to know how to kill this thing, this is the only way to do it. I find that so wonderful. And it's like, it's in the same like drawings as like how the puppet is operated. Like it shows like the guy's here. So it's just like I'm telling you, this is a puppet. It's not alive. It's not real. But if you ever need to kill it, this is the only thing that'll do it. And I love that. And I really want it to be actually Jim Henson who wrote that. With that said, it's 10:07. I think I'm going to stop it here. I'm pretty mentally drained from gluing all these, but now I know how I'm going to be doing it. And I'm going to kind of get up and walk around. I've been doing this for a couple hours now. No, an hour and something. Ugh. Do you think Big Bird's protected by endangered birds? I don't think that Big Bird is technically a endangered bird species, though. To answer that question, Possum, these are the questions that I really want to like get to on here because I know they're what we're all wondering. No, I don't think that Big Bird is an endangered bird species because I don't think that Big Bird is truly a bird in the way that we think of birds. I think that Big Bird is like an entity, and that is why. But yeah, don't fuck with Big Bird. That's really what it comes down to. But I don't think the Big Bird's protected. That's about all I got. I'm sorry, guys. I'm tired. Thank you for the wonderful stream today, bud. Thank you. And I said I'm tired. I'm like mentally tired. Just been talking and building. But take a little break. Clear my head. Clear my mind. Get more done. And I will keep you guys up to date. Later on today, we will be doing the Farewell to Arms stream. Gonna roll up a character and start playing that because I'm really excited to play that game. And it's Tuesday, so Tunnel Rat Tuesday. Yeah, but thank you guys so much for hanging out. Go and back 1490 Doom on GameFound. I'm really pumped about it. I'm gonna go back it again. But yeah, no. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Possum, for keeping me company and keeping the chat rolling. Yeah, no, you've pretty much sold me on that box. I'm gonna have to convince myself not to go buy it. But yeah, I think that is it. I will. I'll let you guys get to it. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining me. Sit pretty. I'll catch you guys later.